Hi everybody, today we're going to be having a little look at downward facing dogs. So whether you're used to doing your downward facing dogs and you want to try and tweak and adjust and alter slightly, just feel a little bit stronger with it as well, or whether you're just completely new to yoga, down dog is one of the foundational poses that we do. So today we're just going to do 15 minutes. We'll still get nice and warmed up, we'll get stretched out as well, and hopefully you'll pick up a few new tips to help you with your downward facing dog. All right, let's go. So we'll just start by closing the eyes, sitting up nice and tall. We just want to try and bring some attention into the body and into the breath. So trying to sit up tall. Might close the eyes or just drop the chin slightly, soften into the shoulders. So almost pull the shoulders down to the hips, especially if you're feeling a little stressed or feeling a little tense or tightness in the shoulders. You can almost pull the shoulders down gently towards the hips. Maybe even use the elbows to pull down slightly as well. And as you do that, you should feel some nice length down the side of the neck. So we just start to stretch out. You can maybe even pull the head back slightly as well. So just trying to stack the spine. And then just take a moment to check in with your breath, your body. Notice where you're at today. Perhaps noticing your energy levels as well. And just trying to tune into the body. And then taking some time to think about the breath. So building the breath a little. Deeper inhale. Longer exhale. You can always see the first couple in through the nose, out through the mouth. And this deeper breath just allows us to calm the nervous system. It allows us to just soften into the body, relax the body a little. And then if you can, trying to breathe in and out through the nose. Now we'll try and use this breath throughout our practice today. Lovely, just opening the eyes when you're ready. Excellent, we're going to start to stretch out, trying to create some more length down the sides of the body. So just taking the hands all the way out in front of you, reaching the arms all the way up to the sky. And if you can, just try to reach up through the fingertips, like your fingertips are trying to touch the ceiling. Think about the shoulders lifting up as well, so you can feel that length down the sides, so down the armpits, down the ribs. Maybe getting that stretch of the belly as well, lifting of the ribs, lifting of the collarbones. Good, take a breath here. And then nice and slowly just move the hands all the way out to the side. Keeping nice and energized, nice and engaged. You're going to stretch through the fingers each side. So imagine that somebody's pulling your fingers nice and wide as if you can reach them as far away from each other as possible. Maybe spread the fingers as well. And then if you can, just start to take the hands back. So if you've got a wall behind you like I have, push your hands back so you're getting this stretch all the way across here, across the chest. Lovely. Looking up to the sky, feel the chest lift a little, that deeper stretch. And then see if you can turn the palms to the sky as well. As you do this, those shoulders are going to roll back and down as well. So feel that rolling back and down. It's a little bit harder to do this one. Think about the little fingers trying to reach to the sky. We're going to try to replicate some of this in our downward facing dog. Looking up. Lovely. When you're ready, take that nice big inhale and reach the hands up to the sky again. Looking up, maybe touch the fingers. Maybe drop the head slip back slightly as well. And then when you're ready, exhale, just working the hands all the way back out and down to the side, relaxing the shoulders. Hopefully feeling some heat in those shoulders now. All right, let's go a little further. Taking your left hand down to the floor, reach your right arm up and over. And as you do, press your right hip down into the ground. So I'm almost trying to round this side of the body rather than just leaning over. I'm actually going to create some resistance by pressing the right hip down, trying to lengthen down the right side of the ribs a little bit more, and then working that right hip down. Lovely. Maybe go for straight arm or a little bend in the elbow. And then see if you can open the chest, look up to the sky. Maybe taking that hand back, shoulder back as well. Lovely. One more breath. Nice. From here, release all the way back and down. Switching over, other side. Left arm comes up and over, leaning over, but again, create that resistance by sending your left hip down. So left hip works down as you try to lean over to the right. Stretching down the side of the ribs, which is going to help us create more length in our downward facing dog. Maybe straight arm, maybe a little bend in the elbow. Soften into the shoulder and take some of that tension away from the neck if you can. So bent elbow will help with the neck. Lovely. Maybe open the chest, look up to the sky. Maybe take that shoulder back. Nice deep breath. Now, when you're ready, exhale, coming all the way back to center. Lovely. All right, let's move up onto our hands and knees from here. Stretching out. All right, tabletop position. If you can, take your hands nice and wide. So they're going to go as wide as the mat, if not wider. I've actually just got my index finger and my thumb on the mat, and then my other 3 fingers are going to be off the mat. So just taking the hands a little bit wider than the shoulders. Tabletop position. And then just start to think about dropping the chest down, belly down, a little bit of an arch, straight arms if you can. Exhale, rounding the back. Lovely. Just keep moving through some of these. Maybe even finding a little more movement by maybe moving back slightly with those hips as you round the back. And maybe even moving forwards, chest forwards of those shoulders slightly as you arch the back, looking up. Lovely. Keep moving through, just trying to start to warm up through the spine. Lovely. Let's do 3 more. Good. Keep it going. Find that nice breath with the flow if you can. The deeper the breath, the slower you're going to be able to move. Lovely. When you're ready, coming back to center. Nice neutral spine if you can. Lovely. From here, I'm going to try to come into our first downward facing dog. So I always prefer to come from a tabletop position, especially when you're starting out. It'll just allow you to keep the feet in the right position. There's always a temptation to move them further in towards your hands, but this can round the back. Not always find enough length basically, so we want to try and lengthen through the back. That's one of the main aims of down dog. So when you're ready, tuck the toes under, lift the hips straight up to the sky, and then start to send the hips back. So we're trying to create a little bit of a V shape. For this first one, we're going to take the feet nice and wide as well, almost as wide as the mat. Toes turn out slightly to help with the hips, and then press down into the hands, spreading the fingers wide, press into the hands, almost as if you're trying to send your shoulders towards your hips, hands push into the ground, and then sending those hips back. Don't worry if the heels don't touch down. You don't actually ever want your heels to touch the ground. You actually always want to have a little bit of a gap underneath the heels. If you can get the feet down, you've likely gone in too short or too narrow with your down dog. So for example, if I step my feet forwards, I can easily get my feet down onto the ground, but I've kind of lost the stretch in my back, not really feeling anything in my back at all. So I'm just going to take them back out. Keeping them wide for this first one. Just pressing back as much as you can. Just starting to maybe feel a stretch into the legs. Maybe you've got a little bend in the knees. So sometimes if you've got very tight hamstrings, you might find a little bend in the knees is going to help you lengthen through the back first. And then as you warm up, you can start to straighten those legs. Take a breath here. Lovely, well done. When you're ready, look forwards and then just walk the feet in slightly, drop the knees to the floor, back into tabletop position. Lovely, look forwards, lift the head slightly, make sure you don't feel too dizzy. Take a breath. All right, hopefully starting to feel some heat building in the body now. I'm going to think about the upper body here now. So if you can, actually turn your fingers all the way out. I'm just going to show you from here. So you might be used to having your fingers here. You're actually going to turn your hands all the way out. And the reason for that is we want those inner elbows to face forwards, or in this instance, up to the sky. So you want those inner elbows to be facing forwards if you can. So we're going to be here. All right, let's give it a go. Even if you're not used to this one, just give it a go. Tabletop position again. Inner elbows trying to stay forward, spread the fingers wide still, and those thumbs facing forwards so they're parallel with the edges of the mat. When you're ready, check in with your inner elbows and try to make sure they're going forward. So if you roll them in, it depends how flexible you are, but you might be able to roll them in. You're going to try to work them out and maintain that if you can. So upper arms are trying to roll out. All right, from there, round into the back as much as you can. So you're really rounding the spine and you're getting this broadness across the upper back, which is what we're trying to do. All right, from there, take your hips straight up. So lift the knees, hips go straight up. Now try to shift the hips back, but keep the upper arms rolling out. Easier said than done, but have a go. So starting to move back. Well done. Notice how that feels in the arms, the shoulders. Might be having to do a little bit more work than usual. Nice, strong, straight arms. Press those hands into the ground as the shoulders move away from the hands. Shoulders might feel like they're moving towards the hips, and then just pressing the hips back, bending the knees if you need to, or just starting to straighten the legs. So don't worry about the legs too much at the moment. Just notice what you feel in the back. So trying to lengthen through the back, through the spine. Might even feel that stretch down the side of the body as well. So down the ribs, the armpits on each side. But notice how that feels. All right, take a couple of breaths here. Keep pressing up and back. Notice how that feels in the shoulders. If you can, try to feel like your shoulders are moving away from each other. So that's going to help you to feel this even more. So shoulders moving away from each other if you can. Straight arms as well. Try to use those tricep muscles. So the tricep muscles are underused in comparison to your bicep muscles. So straight arms if you can. All right, one more breath here. Hopefully feeling that heat in the arms and the shoulders. Shoulders moving apart. Lovely. When you're ready, look forwards, drop the knees to the floor, lift the chest, melt the heart down, and just relax the belly as well. Take a breath. All right, we're going to try to work into the lower part of the body a little bit more now. So from here, pull up or round your upper back. So you're pulling the belly to the back of the spine, rounding the back. Drop the head, look at the knees to help you. And then we get that nice broadness across the upper back all the way down the shoulders. I'm still keeping the hands where they are, fingers spreading out wide, thumbs facing forwards and fingers turning out. Round in the back, trying to roll those upper arms out, so trying to maintain that as much as you can. Nice and slowly start to lift the hips straight up to the sky, so it feels like a very high plank. Keep those upper arms rolling out, but start to press the hands down as the shoulders move away from the hands. Nice and slowly start to shift back into that V shape, that downward facing dog. All right, take the feet a little wider if it helps you, or keep them in hip width apart. All right, now let's check in with the rest of the body. So we still might feel a little bit rounded, shoulders moving apart and away from each other. So pull the shoulders away from each other, straighten the arms. Press into the hands a little bit more, lengthen down the back. Hips start to go back more. All right, now I want you to think about your lower back. And it's sort of thinking right towards the bottom of the tailbone almost. So think about that area. You can even reach back and touch it to help you really visualize it, feel it. And then when you're ready, press into those hands and now send your lower back to the sky. As you do, you're going to get a little bit more of a lift, a little more length through the lower back as well. And you should feel like the front of the body, the core, almost like the pelvic area is pulling in and back. So that's what we want to try and create. We want a strong core working in our downward facing dog. Upper arms still trying to roll out, lower back pressing to the sky. So we're creating that resistance. Now start to send your heels back, send your calves back as well. And if you can, look at your knees, pull up through the kneecaps, so engage those thighs, again, underused muscles, the quads, and then send the heels back, send those thighs back. Well done, let's try again. Hopefully you're starting to feel the heat in this down dog now. Spread the toes, lift the lower back to the sky, press the hands into the ground and go back even further. So it's almost like you're trying to shift your weight back into those heels, but they can't touch the floor because we've got the right distance between the hands and the feet. So it doesn't matter how much you stretch your hamstrings, we still want those heels lifted. We want to find the length in the back and the back of the legs. Lovely, working those arms and the shoulders as well. Pull the shoulders away from each other. One more breath. Lovely, looking forwards. Well done, drop the knees. Lift the chest, lift the heart, look forwards. Good work, well done everyone. All right, we're gonna turn our toes over, dropping down onto the heels. You can take the knees a little bit wider for your child's pose. Drop the elbows down. And then if you want to, you can lower the forehead to the ground, take the arms all the way back, release the shoulders, release the back, and relax the back. Take a breath. Lovely. If you can, take another deep breath in. Feel the back of the chest expand, the ribs expand. And exhale out through the mouth. Lovely. 2 more. Nice big inhale. Big exhale. Good. 1 more. Lovely, well done everybody. Hope you enjoyed that. Just a few little extra tips to help you with your down dog. Thanks for joining. I shall see you next time.